Good evening, chat. It's been a little while. Daddy had to go get cigarettes, and it was a bit of a longer journey than I expected. Hopefully, Mom told you not to stay up. Otherwise, you've been waiting around for, I don't know, about 18 months? It's been about 18 months, about a year and a half. A year, maybe. Hopefully, the audio's decent. I'm using a different headset than I normally would. My favorite and cheap. I could get rid of that right now. Stream's already started. My favorite little cheap headset's dead. Long gone and buried, and I'm using this thing, so hopefully the audio quality's coming through at least semi-decently. How have you been? Are you all excited for the ice cream social? I know our president loves his ice cream. I love my ice cream too. I hope you all love it as well. A lot of things have been going on since I've been gone for a while. Apparently, the internet's lost its mind. The world's gone a little bit crazy, a little bit kooky. Let me check my audio levels here before we really get into it. I'm using this. Okay, it sounds semi-decent. I'll take it. Weather permitting, the stream will be all right. Apparently, Minnesota's going to be blanketed with weather, but I am the weatherman, so I think I'll be able to handle it. How have you been, chat? Going by awfully fast. Try to pick out a few things here. Nope, my eyesight can't keep up with it. It's going by a little quicker than I expected. It's been a while. It's been a little longer than a while. Lots of things to talk about. Lots of world events and internet lore to go over, I'm sure. I will try my best to keep up with the majority of it as best I can. Now, some people have wondered about my stance on the coronavirus. I don't know, can I even say that word on YouTube? Are you allowed to? Susan, please. I'll send you 2 boxes of Franza to let me talk about this. But if asked, has your opinion changed, Jim? Have you changed your mind? No, I haven't. Not so fickle as to just change my mind. We're 18 months into this, year 2 of it. Going into year 3. I'm fairly certain if you take a shit somewhere in the Australian outback, a kangaroo cop will hop on by to go through your fecal matter to see what strain you've got. The world's going off and on lockdowns constantly, people bickering back and forth. We're approaching 5 million dead. Corona-chan, our girl, has outdone Ebola-chan. I'm sticking consistent with my appraisal of the situation. Not a fucking thing has changed, in my opinion. I feel a little bad for people that are fickle enough just to have their opinion forced on them by others. It was unpopular in the beginning. It's still unpopular now. Different group of people, though. But I'm standing by our girl. She's a little bit batty, but goddammit, I love her. I have faith in our girl. So no, my opinion on that has not changed at all. I'm sorry if that disappoints. I'll have to keep consistent with it. I know consistency's a weird thing in this day and age. Everybody changes their opinion awfully quick. There's no problem, of course, with changing your opinion if it's something you actually want to change on, but I'd rather be like a tree rooted in the ground, choosing myself where those roots go, what branches I grow, rather than a leaf in the wind, blown by the opinions of others. It's a little bit sad, to be honest with you. But I love a girl. I'm sorry, I can't change. I can't betray her. She's stolen my heart. It's going to stay there forever. You know, if you remember, I called it the forever flu. Well, we'll see how you feel in year 3 of it. We've got people like, Larry Brilliant, the epidemiologist that cured smallpox or helped eradicate it, talking in interviews about year 4 and 5 of this. Probably should make you perk up a little bit and pay attention. They seem to think it's not going to end anytime soon. That doesn't mean you have to be a fan of any totalitarian measures placed upon you because of it. But to dismiss it outright is a little bit foolish, I think. But nonetheless, the opinion is consistent, for those of you wondering. No, there's been some questions about my health. I'll get that out of the way as quickly as possible, because who wants to hear depressing things? Yes, I did get sick. Yes, I am still sick. Going through the clinomics program at Mayo to try to figure out what it is. For those of you unfamiliar with what clinomics is, it's fucking research medicine. So that's always fun. Now, I know that some people have called into question if I have cancer or not. I heard that Mersh said that. In fact, you might want to be careful, chat. I also heard that Mersh told people if you donate to me ever on any live stream I do, he's going to be very disappointed in you. Very upset about it. And if you donate on a stream and it makes him upset, probably really piss him off if you head on by the Teespring store, buy yourself a nice shirt. I want to hear her screaming. I want it to shatter my windows. Make sure to get a hoodie too while you're there. Should have done a promo code MERSH, but God help me, the man's social media impact is like Chinese food. 20 minutes after he says something, you forgot he exists. I don't want to make fun of him too much. I want to make sure I got the right MERSH. This is the MERSH that saying happy birthday to Styx because he pulled something out of his ass and was embarrassed publicly. Is that the MERSH we're talking about? Or is it the MERSH that ran away from Baked Alaska when he got confronted in the street? Oh, don't mind me, Baked. I'm looking at the ground. I work with the city. That's why I can't look you in the eye. I'm looking for cracks in the sidewalk as I waddle away. I hear MERSH wants to start a weight loss program. More power to him. Always good to get in health. Keep that physique up, get in shape and all that. You know, he's well on his way. He's got a 1-pack from what I hear. It looks like he's pregnant with the Hunchback of Notre Dame. I guess that's what happens when your treat day ends in a Y, isn't it? But God bless him. He's out there protecting the people with his gun at McDonald's. He's gonna keep you safe when you order a Happy Meal. I'm glad to know that our brave MERSH is out there saving the world one person at a time. But no, MERSH, I wasn't faking the cancer, and I don't mind if people buy hats or donate. I'm sorry if that enrages you. It's a weird thing to get upset about, but whatever floats your boat. I guess if it makes you happy, it makes you happy. And we want you to be happy. Jolly and happy. Jolly and fat. At least that way you can supplement your income when Christmas comes around by LARPing as Santa Claus, huh? MERSH, why did you buy a BMW? Why did you buy a ghetto BMW that needs repairs? There's more parts falling off that thing than fucking limbs off a leper. I'm not sure what lemon you guys, like what dealership you walked into that sold you the lemon, but maybe just buy like a scooter. And then you don't have to spend $10,000 replacing a fucking 30-year-old BMW's parts. I don't know. Revenge of the Sis, MERSH. Well, there you go. I give you something to talk about for the next 5 weeks. You're welcome. You're welcome, buddy. Oh, God, who are we talking about? Oh, God, I feel like I ate Chinese food. I keep abreast of things that are going on. I mean, I hear things, and obviously there's shit that's out there, but I don't really. You'll find out this is maybe something you've never experienced, but you get sick enough, and you just kind of not care anymore about a majority of things. It really just kind of rolls off you like water off a duck's ass. You just kind of don't give a shit. It's a fantastic feeling in a way. You're kind of willowed and hollowed out, and you could sit there and stare in the abyss, or you can roll with it. Should let it keep you down. Got to keep going. You need that Goku get 'em attitude. What a fucking age we're living in. A digital dungeon. A cyber panopticon. You know, there are things I can't even say anymore. None of us can. It started with words. Certain no-no phrases and words that you couldn't say, and so we had to be smart about it and work our way around it with euphemisms, and memes and jokes, and substitutions, to find a way to express what we meant to say, because we can't say those no-no words anymore, but it morphed, it went beyond that. It started to change, didn't it? Now it's not just words that you can't say, it's ideas or concepts that you can't even express anymore. We're being hemmed in, hawed in, wrangled, if you were. And what do we do about it? It's not much. Social media really has worked hand in hand with the government to sort of corral us and strip us of our ability to even talk about things. Step out of line and you're deplatformed, demonetized, depersoned. No more bank account for you. No more hosting platform for you. No more servers for you. No more DDoS protection for you. I mean, there's only so much you can build with your own hands. It's one thing to say use a different website, build your own service, get your own servers, buy the hardware, run the company, build your own bank. But at this point, we're getting to the era where we're going to need to run our own country to be able to say what the hell we think. I'm going to have to move to like Tonga or something just to crack a few jokes that might offend people. And it's so bizarre. And you can kind of feel it. It's that intangible thing, isn't it? It's almost ethereal. It tickles the back of your spine, that little bit of despair, doesn't it? As you can kind of slowly see the world going crazy around you as people give in to this. What else can they do? pushed more and more from being able to really express what you think, and using that silence that you're left with as a example of consensus. But it really isn't. You just don't want to deal with the shit. Can't say what you want to say anymore. Can't do what you want to do anymore. It's not the era we live in. This isn't some shit like cancel culture. This is deep. This goes to the root of it. Right in the very soul of it. It's fucking tragic. You know, for years, decades, people have talked about this. I've talked about it. About what was kind of coming. And look where we are. Systems of control implemented almost at every level. Blatantly so, openly so. You had people like Applebaum, who 5, 6, 7 years ago was talking about how you can't trust hardware companies. Beware the intels, he said. They're putting in backdoors in the hardware for the government. And then the software companies, all working in tandem under the Patriot Act with the government to basically give access behind the scenes. To social media companies, which are either coerced or willingly do it. Not all of them, I'm sure, are happy with the decision they've made. You can look at Jack's timeline on Twitter, and you'll see that he's tweeting some very interesting things, but the sad part is, Jack, once you willingly become a cog in the machine, you can't bitch about the smell of oil. It may offend your nostrils, but you willingly got in place. Now you've got companies like Apple talking about things that sound great at the surface, don't they? We're going to come up with an algorithm, a program for your phone to look for child pornography. We're going to make sure if you have it on your phone, we're going to match it to a database through a simple scan and then report you to the police. And who would ever object to that? Nobody likes pedophiles or child predators. It sounds like a great idea. Until you ask yourself, could the government do that? Could the police do that? Wouldn't they need a warrant to do that? But Apple seemingly can just do it because they decide to. And sure, something like that starts with something everyone can agree on. We all think it's bad, we all agree it's bad, and something should be done. But does it stop there? When you put a system of control in place, you usually want to make it appeal to people. You want to sell it to them as something that they can agree with, something they would never disagree with. Who could argue against it? But what if it changes? What if they say they want to start looking for other things? Maybe, conversations you're having. I heard that it was broached as a possible way of dealing with the pandemic to have phone carriers allow SMS messages from the government to dispel misinformation. But you need to ask yourself, one, how would they know what disinformation is being spoken of in text messages through SMS unless they're monitoring them? And why would they need to monitor everybody's text messages to tell you to go get a Fauci ouchie? It's insidious. It's a slow drip. It's how it's always been. And it gets worse and worse. The unfettered internet that existed, this playground for everyone to express themselves and do stupid shit and be silly and awful and amazing to one another, it's gone. It's dead. It's buried. It is not coming back. It's a fucking graveyard. And you and I and all of us, we're the ghosts haunting it. Unable to let go. God, that's depressing. I know. Nobody likes a black pill. Nobody wants to hear a black pill. But I think you need to understand a few things about this. This is a movie we're watching play out in front of us. And I'm a critic, just like you. We're sitting side by side in the same theater. I'm not the producer. I didn't write the script. Neither did you. All I can do is give my critique. Hope maybe that the sequel is a little bit better, but guaranteed we're sitting in that theater watching this unfold, and until those credits roll, we can't escape. It sounds hopeless, doesn't it? But it's not necessarily hopeless. There is one key thing, I think, to remember in the situation we all find ourselves in. And this is apolitical in nature, what I'm telling you here. This isn't a lib thing or a conservative thing. This is a people thing. When systems are put into place to control you, when tyrants, in whatever form they may take, whether that's a oligarchy, a technocracy, a government, whatever it is, when they're on top of you, wielding their power, that power which is derived through your fear, they want you to be complacent, and maybe you're forced to be complacent. Maybe you can't speak and say the things you want to say or do as you please. But the thing to really take away from it, and to remember in that situation, is to fucking laugh at them. They can't stand it. When you laugh at them, when you mock and you ridicule them, you're spitting in their face, you're slighting them in a way that they can't recover from. It's a wound deeper than a dagger. Because it takes away that precious thing that allows them to enforce that power, which is their fear, the fear they implant in you to behave. When you laugh at them, it takes that away from them. And they're left looking like assholes. They can't stand it. Why do you think humor was one of the first things that was attacked on the internet? Well, before politics. Humor was one of the first things they went after. Because they understand its importance and its power. And that if you laugh at them, you're much freer than they imagine you to be. So please don't mistake this as a black pill. It's just certainly my assessment of where we are, where the internet is. That censorship that's been instilled in us, that trained behavior, it's bizarre. I think about the videos that I used to watch on YouTube on a daily basis, and if you tried to re-upload any of them, you'd instantly be banned. I think about the jokes people used to say on social media, and if you said them, you'd be instantly banned. Forced to retreat into an alternative setting to other websites that try to offer that alternative, but they're so busy trying to stab each other in the back to take the place on top of the mountain, I guess. They want to be number one amongst the competition, and so they slit each other's throats. But they're fighting over a molehill. You know, that backstabbing nature hurts them all. Yeah, I wish to see them all succeed. I wish they could. Every alternative that pops up, but through one way or another, they just don't seem to be able to get that footing that they need to really launch themselves, to continue themselves, to fund themselves. That in part is due to the apparatus which exists overhead. I mean, it's not really a secret anymore that a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, and a lot of the calls that are made by financial interests. Companies like Visa and MasterCard pressuring everyone. Banks pressuring people. And so payment processors have to bend the knee. Payment platforms have to bend the knee. And then these alternative sites, how do they fund themselves? And if they do somehow squeak by, someone finds some reason to be upset or angry at them and crushes them into the dirt. And then you're left back here on a YouTube or on a Twitter or on a Facebook with nothing really. That's the movie we're watching play out. An awful film, written by a horrible person, produced and directed by, I don't know. Allow me to have a cigarette. Nice thing about having cancer is you can't really, I mean, once you got it, right? I mean, fuck, YOLO, am I right, folks? Of all the things, when it comes to cancer, you would have thought, oh, he's going to get lung cancer. He smokes so goddamn much. Clean as a whistle in there. Go figure. God's sense of humor. You got to love it. A little bit of a divine laughter, as it were. And so now, what do we got? Political situation that's just goofy. I know. I can't really say definitively that Joe Biden has dementia. I have no proof of that. I mean, that would be a spurious and wild accusation to make. But I can say that it seems that he's a bit disheveled, a little out of it. Not really on the ball, as it were. I know a lot of people, Orange Man bad. So they voted for Biden, hoping that he would be some kind of salvation. Of course he wasn't. And now look at us, in a disaster in Afghanistan. Now, I've loved the narrative. I've watched this be crafted, even since the first day of the pullout announcement, that Joe Biden wanted to get us out of Afghanistan. And if you disagree with that, clearly that means that you want to send more soldiers into Afghanistan. I don't think a single person wants to be there. They're not criticizing the fact that people want to leave. They're not criticizing Joe Biden for pulling out. They're criticizing him for how he pulled out. The ineptitude, the confusion, the disoriented, mismanaged clusterfuck which he has gifted the world. $85 billion, I think is the number I heard quoted. $85 billion worth of American military machinery just left there. Guns and planes and all sorts of shit. Who knows? Who knows exactly what the total tally will be? Just left. Gifted to the country. Who knows what they're going to use that for? Now, you'd think with an organized pullout that machinery and tactical shit would have been on the first of the list. Then he goes and he blames the Afghans. He says the Afghani army is cowardly. Look at them, they won't stand and fight. So this is a man criticizing the Afghani army for being afraid to take a bullet. When he runs away from the podium afraid to take a question? This is a man that has a pre-prepared list of questions which he deems acceptable. That's put together by his own administration because he's too afraid to be asked a question he might not have an answer pre-prepared for. So I've been watching this goofy shit unfold. I've been watching, what was it, is it Ducey? Was it the Fox News reporter that was in there that's constantly on his ass? I'm not sure who exactly asked it, but somebody asked about the dog attacks. Now that seems like a benign thing, doesn't it? You know, his dogs bit some people in the Secret Service. Except they lied about how many times it happened. So why would anybody care? Why would that be a big deal? Well, this is the administration that said, Orange Man bad, and we love transparency, knowingly hiding things. It's just ineptness. I don't know how to explain it other than that. So you're left with two choices when you look at Joe Biden and the disaster in Afghanistan and his administration now as it stands as inflation shoots up. I mean, are you liking $5 a gallon gas? Is that what the country should be? It's either that the man is incapable, he's stupid, he's just a bad leader, or there's something medically wrong with him. They say you shouldn't attribute malice to actions when ineptitude could explain it. Well, you know, calling him stupid seems a bit harsh, so maybe it is medical. What a goofy world we live in. Just an unfettered hell. It's a fucking hellscape, I'll be honest with you. I don't have a lot of faith in government. I'm not saying Trump would have done better. But I've heard liberals now for the last 9 months say, excuse me, Joe Biden's president. Well, you're right, he is. So he probably should own up to what's happening. Now all of a sudden they want to say, no, this is Trump's fault. I didn't know Joe Biden called up Donald Trump and said, hey, how can I fuck up Afghanistan, Orange Man? Hey, I heard you had 2 scoops. I want one of them. Joe loves himself some ice cream, Orange Man. Yeah, this is on Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the leader. Joe Biden makes the decisions. Joe Biden's administration decided to do this, and Joe Biden's administration fucked it up. You've got people from the Pentagon making statements that are almost instantly shown to be false. The Taliban's not at the airport. The Taliban isn't providing security. False. False. People didn't fall from the sky. I watched videos of it. You watch videos of it. Day after day, they say something, proof comes out, and then they have to alter their answers. And where was Joe Biden when this disaster was unfolding? I remember a lot of talk about, Donald Trump being lazy. Oh my God, he golfs so much. How many press conferences did the president give as this unfolded? You stepped in front of the podium for a total talking time of what, an hour? This is a man that if you look on Twitter right now, you'll find video clips of him falling asleep while he sits with the Prime Minister of Israel. Sleepy Joe isn't a meme. The man literally fell asleep. I think they had to have, Kamala Harris poke him with a stick to make sure he was still alive. Sleepy Joe Biden, tired. Joe Biden need ice cream. Oh, I'm doing the Tonka voice. God, I wonder what happened to Tonka. I'm just kidding. I don't care. Does anybody? Now you've got everybody around the world laughing at America, which is fair. I mean, if I were a foreigner, as an American, I love to do streams talking shit about the world. So if I was the rest of the world, I would be talking endless shit about America right now. I mean, it's your turn up to bat. You've earned it. This is an embarrassing disaster that seemingly is continuing onwards. And so now we've had a terrorist attack there, ISIS-K. What does the K stand for? Are they reinforced by potassium? Are they the healthier version of ISIS? Is this like a diet brand of terrorism? Who names themselves ISIS-K? Is there an M and an L? They pick every letter of the fucking alphabet? ISIS-K, here to infuse you with potassium. Okay, all right, ISIS, calm yourself down. Oh. Was it 90, 150 Afghans dead from the suicide attack, 13 service members dead? And then I watch a YouTube video of somebody in the military asking a simple question, where's the competency and where's the responsibility in the administration? Why is nobody up the chain of command saying anything or doing anything about this? You know what happened to him? Done. Fired. His ass was out the door. At the same time, you can go on TikTok and watch some chick that drives a fucking refuel truck or whatever the hell it is in the military say she can't wait for martial law so she can stick a gun in your face. What's going on with our military? You've got General Mark Milley out there talking about white rage and communism and all these other fucking things. When what he should be doing is putting together an exit strategy that's not a goddamn historical embarrassment. Yeah, Biden had made speeches for months talking about how Afghanistan wasn't going to fall, the military was going to stand, ISIS wasn't a threat, Taliban, or because they didn't exist, Taliban wasn't a threat, everything was going to go smooth, everybody was going to get out. It will not be a repeat of Vietnam, he said. You will not see images of people leaving the embassy like the fall of Saigon. And that is literally what you saw. Quite literally what happened. And now you've got the Taliban on social media eating fucking ice cream cones and driving go-karts, mocking the President of the United States, at a press conference with the Taliban. One of the reporters asked them, what is going to happen to women under your rule? What about free speech and free association and all of that? And his response, with laughter, was essentially, and this isn't verbatim, but it's the gist of it, isn't it strange to have a Westerner ask me about freedom when you can't even say what you want on Facebook? Why don't you go talk to Zuckerberg? I don't know who taught these men as they spent 20 years in the fucking mountains how to meme and where they got their banter. I blame Australia. It must be Australians. Somehow they've set up their own communication network and have taught the Taliban how to banter. But the guys hiding in the mountains know about the panopticon that we've ensconced ourselves in. They understand that we're surrounded by this shit, and they mock us for it. But, at least Mark Milley was able to get the Afghan girls robotics team out, so I guess no harm, no foul. I mean, it's like an omelet. You got to break some eggs, am I right, folks? Wasn't that the big selling point? The adults are back in charge? I remember hearing that smugly from a lot of people. Oh, the adults are back in charge. Things are going to go well, everybody. Sure as shit doesn't feel like it. Sure doesn't feel like things are being in control. It doesn't feel like the adults are in the room. It feels like we're all grasping in the darkness because we have no leadership. Fundamentally, on every level, it feels like leadership is imploded in upon itself. Joe Biden feels like a doddering old fool, a man that walks into walls unless you give him some guidance by taking him by the fucking elbow and directing him where he needs to go. Kamala Harris is ducking the cameras, which is probably the smartest political thing she's ever done. Because God help her if she ever gets in front of one, they're going to ask about the southern border and that speech she gave 2 months ago saying she was vital in the planning of the Afghan pullout. Pelosi's out there. I don't know what Pelosi's doing. She's kissing Biden's ass. That's political poison, and it'll do her harm. And I've got the Democrats worried about the midterm elections, 2022. Worried that they're going to lose power, so they can't push through all the ridiculous shit that they do now, using those reconciliation bills to up the amount of money we print. I mean, God, at this point, it's like candy, isn't it? We're just giving it out to everybody. I mean, first it was the 1.5 trillion, then another 1 trillion, then another 1.5 trillion. Now it's a 3.5 trillion. The numbers are starting to become meaningless as the bigger they get. It becomes ridiculous, so abstract you can't put your head around it. But you've got to let it through. Talking about job creation and things are going great and all of that. And yet, what do we have? We have a situation where people have been stuck indoors because of a pandemic. You've got landlords that run properties, and I know, God, I know, everybody hates landlords. They're the devil. I get it. But they still have to pay their own fucking bills. It's not like the houses and apartments were gifted to them. How many of those fuckers are underwater, I couldn't say. But then here comes the CDC to extend the eviction moratorium illegally. I mean, it was bizarre. It was a weird power grab, but they did it nonetheless. And so what happens when that kind of decision is made? From both perspectives, those who agree with eviction moratoriums and those who don't, here's what happens. Joe Biden can't get his own political party to do more eviction moratoriums. So here comes the CDC to do it. Now, everybody knows the CDC can't do it. But Biden tells everybody, don't worry. You don't have to worry about paying rent till November. You're safe. Everybody's good. Nothing to worry about. Landlords get fucked. And then judges come in and say, you can't do that. There can't be an eviction moratorium. It ends now. Okay, so now you're going into September. So now the landlords are looking better, but everybody that believed that these eviction moratoriums were in place and they had another month or two to prepare to figure out what the fuck they were going to do, your ass is out the door. Because it's been 18 months that these people have been waiting, right? What a crazy thing. What a cowardly thing. That's the sort of decision, right, from an administration that fucks everybody over. Fucks the landlord over, fucks the tenant over, creates confusion and chaos. And you're seeing that play out over and over again. That confusion and chaos, the inability to lead from an administration that doesn't know what it's doing, that makes decisions that affect everyone and hurt everyone. A southern border that's wide open like a sieve. Here's a question for everybody in regards to the coronavirus. Again, Susan, please, just let me say this. If you're saying that the pandemic is fueled by variants, and if you tell me that those variants are because of unvaccinated people, have you looked at the worldwide vaccination rates? Currently, worldwide, it's about 30% vaccinated. That's after 10 months of effort. 10 fucking months to get that amount of people vaccinated. And you need about triple that. You're going to need about 90% for that sought-after herd immunity they talk about, which means another 20 months. Let's say they speed it up, right? Okay, they speed it up. Let's say it's a year and a half rather than 20 months. Well, that's a variant fucking factory that's worldwide. So if you're really concerned about that, you'd think border security would be something you'd be worried about. But it isn't. Kamala never went down to take care of it. So we just let people in. Just fucking let them in, let them in, let them in. We'll deal with it later. It's a chaotic situation. Biden comes in and he says, we need to go green. We need to go solar. We're going to shut down pipeline jobs. We're going to do this the right way. And now here he is on his knees begging OPEC to produce more oil to drive down price. And OPEC doesn't give a shit and laugh at him. And why wouldn't you laugh at him? Because it was a stupid, silly thing to do. Now your gas prices go up. These chaotic fucking decisions that don't make sense, that there's no pre-planning. They sound good. They sound good in a speech. But if you don't have planning behind them, and infrastructure behind them, and a will to drive them, they just do damage. So with those kind of decisions, it's really not weird to see Afghanistan sitting in the situation it is it? There was no planning involved in it. He just wanted to be able to have a 9/11 anniversary and say we're out of Afghanistan. That's what he gave a shit about. He didn't give a shit about personnel, didn't give a shit about equipment, didn't give a shit about security. He cared about the photo op. And so when it blew up in his face, he hid. He hid away. He hid away in a way that liberals used to make fun of Donald Trump for hiding away. Taking trips to Camp David, taking trips to Delaware. And then he'd show up to the White House, he'd give a 10-minute speech where he'd get everything wrong and be contradicted within a day. And then he'd tuttle off, he'd trudge along, and he'd leave. And then another big fuck up would happen, and he'd be right back saying, I didn't know people were falling from the sky. I need to go eat more ice cream. I mean, if we're this incompetent running away, I am scared to think what we're going to do if we actually have to fight a fucking war with anybody that's semi-fucking coherent and capable. I mean, we're up shit creek if that happens. At this point, Cuba could take us over. The Tonganese could come with canoes and their one airplane from their mighty Air Force and take us over. It's such a strange world, man. Feels like a fever dream, doesn't it? Feels like we're stuck in a fever dream. But again, I don't mean to blackpill you too much. That's just my observation, watching that movie, sitting inside that theater with you. That's my assessment. Global politics is fucked. American politics is fucked. And we're all being muzzled so we can't really talk about it. What the hell, man? You know, I just wanted my circus. My bread and circus. They won't even let me have that. It's too offensive. Even the Romans understood that you can't be that fucking stupid.
Salutations, and welcome to World Anvil's article edits.
I see a lot of ice cream cones. A lot of ice cream cones in chat. I'm glad you're loving the vanilla. Don't we all love the vanilla? Somebody said Tonka mad. Oh my God, is he actually still out there somewhere? I'm trying to catch up. Chat's going by so fast. But Tonka's still out there? I wonder what he's doing now. I thought he was wrestling. Wasn't him and Jim Sterling wrestling each other? Isn't that what he does now? Oh, I saw somebody bring up QAnon in the chat. Yeah, let's talk about Q for a second. Again, Susan, please. I'll watch my language. I promise. I'll be a good boy. Boy, wasn't that funny. You know, for about a year, 2 years, 3 years, I'd taken the viewpoint that Q was like cicada for boomers, right? That it was like some kind of internet game that they got way too invested in. But they trusted the plan so much they forgot to vote. Oh, that's got to sting a little bit. Oh, they were so dedicated. Oh, they were such true fucking believers. Left holding the bag on that shit. That's got to fucking sting. You know, I remember at the height, there were fucking... there must have been thousands of stores selling Q merchandise. There were Q streams. There were people that treated that shit like they were looking at a lost language, doing a study on that. You get 50 and 60-year-olds from fucking Facebook having 5-hour-long live streams talking about Q drops and all the deep significance in them. Oh, man, I don't know what that was. I mean, you could say that was... You could say a lot of things about it, but really you should appreciate the humor of it, I suppose. that was the biggest clusterfuck I've seen in years. I mean, at least Cicada ended with people trying to solve tough puzzles. I don't know what you got left with from Q, aside from merchandise you're too embarrassed to wear in public at this point. Oh. A psyop? Maybe you're right, chat. Maybe it was a psyop. I don't know. What's that? There was a previous thing kind of like that. What was it? The trust plan or plan trust? Some Russian thing where they convinced the peasants to just everything was okay in the palace. Trust us, guys. 2 more weeks and it'll be back to normal. Oh. I mean, you'd expect. I guess it's kind of 50-50, right? You'd expect if it was a psyop, whoever did it would come out and be like, I owned your asses. Look at how amazing that is. On the other hand, if it wasn't a psyop and it was somebody LARPing, they'll never publicly admit it. It'd be too fucking embarrassing. Too many people would be mad at them. So we're going to have to wait a decade. I did see that documentary on HBO about it. I mean, that was entertaining. You know, what they paused it at the end that, I can't remember his fucking name. The guy from 8chan, Code Monkey. They posit that was Q. You know, I can't say whether or not that's the truth, but I'll tell you, the documentary guy, a little more balls than I have. Because if some dude told me to meet him in the middle of the forest at like 1 a.m. so he could sing opera, I would take that as him telling me he's going to skin me and wear it as a suit. It was like episode 3. He's like, hey man, I know you're looking into that Q thing, but why don't you come into this forest with me at midnight? Why do you want me to go in the forest with you? Just trust me. I want you to hear my opera. I sing really good opera. Come into this forest with me at midnight. Don't tell anybody. Come on. I want to sing some opera for you. I hope he brought a gun. I mean, like, oh shit. I'd love to hear your opera in the forest at midnight in a country I'm not familiar with, but I think I'm going to pass on that, my friend. You know, I've missed streaming. I'll be honest with you. It's fun just to shoot the shit and really just talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. But you're kind of sapped of energy. You don't really have the motivation to do it. You're kind of caught up in your own head with the shit you're dealing with. But it is entertaining once in a while. Oh my god. All the internet shit. All the internet drama that I've missed. Well, not missed. I mean, I've kind of passively watched it happen. I think the biggest of which, the most interested I am when it comes to the shit that's going on currently, has to be Chris Chan. It has to be. Oh! How could you not be fucking enraptured by this story? It's going to be the OJ of the internet. I hope to God it goes to trial. It will be the fucking OJ of the internet. It will make the Zimmerman trial look like a warm-up act. Chris Chan. I mean, is it... We're at the death of the internet, right? This is like the final days. What better capstone than the trial of Christian? I mean, the symbolicism of it, right? It's perfect. You couldn't write it better. Here's this guy that's been watched by the internet for a decade. A decade! All the crazy shit that, Chris has done. And here we are at the finale. The dude goes out and allegedly, right? Allegedly, I've got to say allegedly, raped his mother. That's terrible. Who could have ever foreseen this happening? And now he's going to go to he is in big boy prison. He has a court date where he appears, and his biggest complaint is, I want you to let me out for a while so I can get my toys. He's probably bouncing off the walls right now. Sorry, Chris. Hate to tell you this, but Legos and Sonic and Transformer toys aren't allowed in fucking solitary confinement. He's probably drawing the newest edition of Sonichu on his prison walls in shit and urine, begging for the dimensional merge to happen so he can go be a CPU goddess and not stuck in a jail cell. Now, will he take a plea deal? Will he cop out to try to get less time? I don't know. Will they find him guilty? I don't know. But you know what the most horrifying thing that could happen might be? And given how much of a clown world this is what I'm expecting is going to happen. Oh, fingers crossed. Chris Chan will be tried for this. There will be physical evidence that this happened to Barbara Chandler, right? That this crime actually took place. But Barbara Chandler will take the stand in defense of Chris. And she will tell the court that she loves fucking her son. And then we're going to get 2 hours of graphic description of the frequency of his tongue when he's flicking the bean. Imagine the absolute horror on the jurors' faces as they have to hear this. As Barbara Chandler describes to the court in graphic detail how she loves getting fucked by her son. That would be the perfect capstone to Clown World. That would be the thing, I think, that would really upend everyone's expectations. That's like a Shyamalan twist. Nobody saw it coming. Barbara, why would you testify for this sick pervert? Because I love the way he fucks me. Oh, no! Barbara, please, no. Oh, but that trial's coming up. Do you know that we're probably going to hear Chris Chan? I mean, if this goes to trial, there's 10 years of things that have happened that the court's going to have to hear about. Because his defense, I'm almost certain, are going to try to say that this is a mentally vulnerable man who has been shaped and misled to commit a crime. That it was almost under duress, shaped by years of trolling and torture. And to set up that kind of defense, this guy's going to need to include everything that's ever happened. There are going to be jurors that are going to be sitting there listening to a man in a pickle suit. Liquid Chris is going to be put up on a widescreen display playing his guitar. We're going to hear the audio clips of Blue Spike laughing as Chris shoves a Sonichu medallion up his asshole. It's going to be fucking wild. Some people have said it's kind of like that Seinfeld finale, right? Where every character comes back. It's almost like that. Except these aren't people that are probably going to be familiar with Chris Chan. They're going to sit there in abject horror listening to the shit recited to them, detail by excruciating detail. They're going to watch him drink his semen from Fanta. They're going to watch him fuck blow-up dolls. So many blow-up dolls. They're going to see pictures of his taint being ripped open and him thinking that he's growing a vagina. It's going to be the wildest shit ever. And they're going to be sitting in that jury booth wishing that they had gotten some other case because it's going to last for months. God, I hope it's streamed. I can't even imagine the amount of people who would watch this. It'd be the greatest trial ever. You have to stream it. You have to let the public see it. I mean, what are the realistic possibilities? Well, realistically, Chris will, I mean, people say, well, it'd be an insanity defense, right? Chris is obviously insane. It's an insanity defense, so he'll walk. Do you know how hard it is to prove that? I mean, it's really difficult to go with insanity to get out of trouble. I mean, his best bet is trying to get a plea deal for minimal time or no time in some kind of stringent probation. But his life is radically altered because even if he finds a way to slip the noose on this and he gets out of trouble, they will never let him go live with her again. I mean, that's her house, right? So he's never going back to that house again, which means you've got a whole new arc. You've got two arc possibilities sitting before you. Pre-dimensional merge. Chris Chan is either going to prison or Chris Chan is going to be homeless. Those are your two arcs. Now, I've seen this, the chick's name, Isabel Janky? The Jankster? Everybody saying that this is a Machiavellian mastermind that's set into motion all of these plans. Maybe. I don't know. The entertaining part for me is the trial. I'm in it to watch what happens with Chris Chan. Now, will the lawyer bring up this chick and try to swerve it in her direction? Oh, fuck yes. Probably. If they go to trial, he's going to swerve it in everybody's direction. God, imagine if they call to the stand everybody that's ever trolled Chris Chan. Imagine everybody that's ever done something to him coming to court to take the stand. And please, Pickle Man, if that happens and you're summoned to go to this fucking trial, show up in a pickle suit. Give it your all. You've got to give it your all, man. It's a fucking historical event. You need to show up in that fucking pickle suit. And Liquid Chris needs to show up dressed like Chris. Oh my God, I'd love if he took the stand and say, that man is innocent. I'm the real Chris Chan. That man is an imposter. I'll have you know my mother was never in love with me. We've never had sex, I guarantee it. It's been hell. It's been hell waiting for more news about this. I mean, we're what? We're, I'd say 3 weeks away from more information. I think it's sometime like early, middle September that he's got another hearing. I mean, generally with court cases like this, they're hearing, delay, until you finally get to the meat and potatoes, the juice of it. And so we're waiting to get to the juice of it. But it's coming. Oh, Lordy, is it coming. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I really hope it goes to court. I really hope there's a trial. I don't know, chat. Let me see what the general consensus is with you. Give me a 1 if you want to see Chris Chan go on trial. Give me a 2 if you don't think it's going to happen. 1, Chris goes to court. 2, he weasels out of it. Let's see if we can try to get a consensus built. I know there's a bit of a delay. There always is a fucking delay with streaming. Oh yeah, I'm seeing a lot of fucking 1s. A couple of 2s. Mostly 1s. See, you want it too. I mean, why not? We're stuck in a position where we can't really enjoy the entertainment we want anymore. Internet's so censored and sanitized, you can't really have fun anymore. I mean, this is kind of like the last hurrah, isn't it? The trial of Chris Chan decides the fate of the internet. Oh, it's fucking poetic. It's like divinity came down from the heavens and said, fuck yeah, I'm going to write it like this. I'm going to write it. Perfect capstone. That's the season finale, a series finale. The last hurrah of the internet, the trial of Chris Chan. Oh, you're going to have streamers everywhere talking about it. Wall-to-wall fucking coverage. I'm really excited. God, I hope this doesn't get fucked up. I hope the DA pushes the trial through. Fucking Chris Chan, man. You know, I figured it would end darkly for him. I'm not a prophet though. I didn't think he'd go and rape his mother, so I'm not calling dibs on figuring that out ahead of time. But I figured it would be a dark ending. I thought he'd get wrapped up in something, he'd get too pushy with somebody, and he'd either get hurt in public or he'd do something stupid that would hurt himself. But I figured it would be dark and he'd end up at some point homeless. Like Barb would die and he'd burn through the money and lose the house and, I don't know, build a fucking Lego shack to live in. I wasn't exactly sure where it was going to go, but I was pretty sure it was going to be dark. But really exceeded my expectations, Chris. Oh, God, it's gross. It's gross even thinking about it, really. But that's what makes the best kind of trials, right? Betrayal, vengeance, sex. It's got pieces of all of that built into it. You've got an assortment of people. Assortment of characters who could take the stand and have to talk about this and explain it. The perfect ending. Yay, you're not dead. Yes, yes, chat. No, I'm not dead. This is actually just a really well done deepfake. Jade figured out how to deepfake my voice, and you're all being taken on a ruse cruise. Jim died a long time ago, a month into his sickness, and it's just been working on the technology to fool you. We need some Blue's Clues mystery solvers here to help us figure out what's really going on. Yes, DSP's still out there, somehow chugging. The last stars in the fucking galaxy could die and DSP would still be out there doing his thing. I don't know how exactly what form that might take, but he'll still be honking and snorting his way as fucking heat death in the universe happens. Protected and insulated from it. Fucking surviving forever. Oh. Well, if you remember much about my streams, you remember that I always take a little break. So let's take a small, momentary break while I go get something to drink. And I will put on some background music for you, so it's not just dead air. I'll try not to donga this up. So if you got to grab something to eat or drink or take a piss or shit, do whatever you got to do. Now's your time to do it. We'll meet back up. We'll continue on discussing all the crazy shit that's gone on in the last year and a half in just a few.
J Squad.
We gotta find. That's the first clue.